All right, we have everybody back in the courtroom. Thank you for your patience, folks. All right, did the attorneys have a chance to come up and look at the verdict form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts on sentencing?
Your Honor, as all the interested parties are currently present and the court does not have discretion based on the jury's verdict as far as what the sentence can be, we would prefer to go forward today.
Okay. State, are you prepared to go forward?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you prepared to go forward now through the lunch hour?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay.
The state does have some family members that would like to speak to you briefly.
Sure. Are you ready? Do you know how you're going to proceed and what order? Okay.
All ready to go. Whenever you are, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, thank you. I'm going to first call Phil.
Let me stop you for one moment, Ms. Fravely.
Yes.
I did, folks, have Zoom open for the entirety of the trial. I was always letting folks in. I'll note that they were good in the sense that they would come in before 9. I didn't have to let them in throughout the day because they were all on time. So there are folks that are also on Zoom. I don't know if these are folks that you want to be heard as well. Can I, Deputy, Carl, can you turn this TV around? The jurors are gone, so I don't mind turning that around now so that the state and the defense can see who's on Zoom. Oh, they might have unplugged it? Okay. Let me have the state and the defense come up. You can take a look at the names that are on here.
Oh, Ms. Torres, may I get her back into the courtroom?
Sure.
Ms. Torres? Yes. Please come up to the moment.
Yes? Let's leave it where it is. Yeah, thanks. All right, why don't you come take a look and write down the names, and then you could find out if these are folks that want to be heard. Let me just to go through it. It says Warren Rhines on this one, and it looks like 2 people are there. Do you know who that is? All right, are they going to want to be heard? Okay. There's someone with the name Sean Tower. Is that someone that wants to be heard? Why don't I find out who these folks are? And let's okay. All right, if I can have Warren Rhines, please unmute. All right, you're unmuted. Can you please tell me who you folks are?
And I am the uncle of Robbie Tower.
And I am Darlene Rhines, the aunt of Robbie Tower.
All right, so we have aunt and uncle. Do you wish to be heard today, this afternoon, at the sentencing hearing?
I do not.
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we have an aunt and an uncle that have been here on Zoom but do not wish to be heard. All right, can Sean Tower please unmute and turn your video on?
Sorry, Your Honor, I don't have a camera hooked up. No, I'm Robbie Tower's brother. I don't wish to be heard.
Okay. All right, how about, there's someone with the name Gladys that's on the Zoom.
Hi, I am a friend of the family and I do not wish to be heard.
Okay. You were in the courtroom this week, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, friend of the family does not wish to be heard. So we have no one on Zoom that wishes to speak. I have no preference on order. Why don't we, any objection to the state proceeding first, Mr. Gilman?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, state, please call your first witness up, or person up to the, why don't we use the witness box, okay?
Yes. State calls Phil Tower.
Stand here, you're going to face the clerk. No, face this clerk. Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
okay.
Behind you?
Yep. no problem.
Give this to Mr. Tower. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Tower. Can you please tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Philip Tower, Tower.
Okay. Would you like to address the court?
The court,
And
not
Ms.
particularly.
Right. You're
Whatever
gonna
it is
address,
that you
yeah.
want to say, sir.
Oh, I just want to talk to Dima.
Hold on.
No.
Whatever it is that you wish to say, direct it at me.
Oh,
You
okay.
can tell me what you want to say and what you want me to know. This is a sentencing where you can give the court input, okay?
Okay,
Of course, Mr. Tower, the defendant, is the courtroom and will hear what you have to say, okay?
right. I just wanted the court to know that Dima didn't just,
Take your time.
he didn't just kill Robbie and Jennifer. Killed a part of all of us. And there isn't a person over there that doesn't hate him. And we want him to suffer. And I just like one more thing to say. I have a lot of things to say, but you probably wouldn't like it. I want him to, when he's Dima, look at me.
No, sir, you go ahead and direct your comments to me, okay?
I would like him to change his name while he's in jail. I don't want him to use my name anymore. I don't want him to be associated with us. And a lot of things I want to say to you, to him.
Take your
I
time.
don't believe you'd allow it, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think I could go any further than that.
I don't know, Ms. Fablik, if you wanted to ask him any questions?
No, Mr. Tower, this is really a chance to talk about your loss and what Jennifer and Robbie meant to you and the loss in your life. So I think that's better than right now retribution, because
it.
the judge will take care of that.
Yeah, I understand. I can't put into words.
Why don't you tell me this, how is Jennifer or Robbie related to you?
Robbie's my son.
Your son? Tell me about your son and your daughter-in-law.
Well, they were just great people. They were honest. They were religious. Cared about everybody. They would give you the shirt off their back. They'd help you. They were big in the church. They went on pilgrimage. You know what I'm saying? They went to different kind of pilgrimages, whatever. They went, and that's how they met Dima. They just wanted to help somebody. They couldn't have children of their own. They saw Dima. They figured they'd give him a chance at life. And that's how we repaid them. There wasn't anybody that didn't like them. And it was just a total waste of good people. I don't know what else I can say that build them up any more than that. I don't have to. We'll miss it.
Thank you, Mr. Tower.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tower.
Take your time.
Thank you.
The state would like to call Michael Burgon. you need this?
No, nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Stand here, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, so we'll come this way. You can raise your right hand for me.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Will you tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Michael Burgon, Burgoon.
And how do you know Robbie and Jennifer Tower?
Jennifer Tower is my sister, and of course, Robbie was my brother-in-law.
Okay, and is Jennifer younger or older than you?
Couple years older.
Couple of years older,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
she was your big sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you like to talk to Judge Krug about how your life has been affected by the loss of your sister and brother-in-law?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd like to thank the court for allowing me to speak today. My name is Michael Burgon. Jennifer Tower is my sister, and Rob Tower is my brother-in-law. For just over 2 years, I've had to try to process daily that my sister Jennifer and Rob are no longer here. Jennifer was much more than my sister. She was my #1 supporter and best friend. Growing up together, we would play video games, hang out on Venice Beach and Siesta Key, and often race go-karts at Pelican Pete's in Inglewood, or just simply hang out. As we grew older and moved on in life and got married, daily one of us would call the other or send a text just to say I love you. There wasn't anything I went through in life that I didn't reach out to her for her thoughts or her advice or how she thought I should handle it or what she may do if she was in my shoes. Even through my 20s to just over 2.5 years ago, I'd call her because I knew she would always answer the phone. And even if I didn't like what she would say, she would answer with honest and loving. I would also reach out to Rob daily. Rob was the very definition of what a brother-in-law is. We shared the same sense of humor. Jennifer would often get on us for acting like teenage boys. I would often call Rob just to get some advice from a guy's point of view or if he had a question about the Bible. Rod had a very vast knowledge of it and would talk to me, or if I was struggling with something, he would often tell me a verse in the Bible that dealt with what I was going through and would help. Rob was the person who officiated my second wedding. There has been no greater hurt or pain in life than losing them. There isn't a second of the day that goes by that I don't think about them. Nobody should have to go through the hurt, emotional burden, grief, and just loss of direction in life that losing them has caused. They were the true north and the compass of my life. They were full of so much love, not only with me and their family. Jennifer loved our 2 older sisters, Lori and Lisa, and her mother, Cindy, and her son. Rob always spoke about the love for his parents and family and the love he had for his son. Our lives were much better because they were in ours. Sadly now, because of the events of October 31st, 2023, they were selfishly taken from our families. That void can never be filled, and for me personally, going through 2 counseling professionals still has not helped me out. Daily, I feel a pain and hurt that can't be described. I want to believe that they're just busy, and any second, my phone will ring and I'll hear that, "Hey, Michael, what's up, brother?" that Jennifer would so lovingly say, knowing full well that that night, hearing that will never happen again. It's an emotional trauma that for the rest of my life, I'll have to work through and try to process with the help of counseling and family because it's not something that will go away. I hope and pray that today brings some closures for our families. Grief is a journey with no time limit. And Jennifer and Rob, I love you and will live daily to honor your memory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The state calls Rich Pollock.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good afternoon, Mr. Pollock.
Good afternoon.
Will you tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Richard Pollock, Pollock.
Will you tell Judge Krug how Robbie and Jennifer were part of your life?
Yes. I wrote a brief statement. At the beginning of this trial, we were told and we heard that the defendant say that this was all an act of rage. By saying so, he may feel that this helps to alleviate his responsibility in some way, but it doesn't. What he calls rage is nothing more than a pitiful attempt at an excuse to try to explain away the atrocities that he committed. This wasn't rage. This is all the result of a series of calculated decisions that he made that night. Robbie and Jennifer Tower, or as we affectionately called them, Rob and Jen Towerski, or Robbie and Miss Jen to our girls, had a huge impact, not only on mine and my family's lives, but countless people here and around the world that they ministered to and shared the love and teachings of Christ with. Rob and Jen were show-up people. The people that showed up to help and weren't afraid to get dirty or put in the work to help a friend or anyone really. They were people who loved fully, and we loved them for it. It was Rob and Jen who showed up to teach my daughter Gigi to ride a bike. When I couldn't. It was Rob who showed up to put my Christmas lights up after I fell off the roof and Jen volunteered him to. The list goes on. They had a light in them that burned brightly for Christ, for each other, and for people. They were truly the people who would give you the shirt off their backs if you needed it and expected nothing in return, and not just their shirts. I remember them once giving one of their cars to a family that needed it. That's who they were. They offered the same gift to Dima, a gift of agape love. They gave, and he took and took. He was unwilling to receive it unless it was on his terms. He says he holds in such high esteem the way of life in Ukraine and that the man should rule over his family with some sort of an iron fist and that his wife must be subservient to him. But I would like to remind him in the court that the same way of life relegated him ending up in an orphanage where no one cared. As he put it, a nobody from nowhere. Rob and Jennifer chose to put Christ first and to love him above each other, but then to love each other above all and second only to that. They treated each other equally after only God and each other. They chose to love Dima and to bring him into their lives. They wanted to make him a somebody and gave him their name. I remember they were so excited. I remember how proud Rob was when Dima first became an American citizen. So many things that he did that he was so proud to be able to share that his son accomplished. But Dima didn't see it that way. If it wasn't his way and exactly the way he wanted or perceived it to be, he didn't want it or it was wrong. This wasn't just an issue that he had with Rob and Jen. He had problems with authority at school and rules. He couldn't handle it if another kid had got attention and took out his anger on those younger and smaller than he was. He's a coward. He showed it when he beat up on little kids, and he showed it the night that he made the choice to brutally murder Rob and Jen while they were asleep because he was too afraid to face them awake. He made a series of choices that night that changed the world for so many of us. There were multiple times that he could have stopped, but he made the choice to continue this brutality. He said he decided to kill them when he was sitting out in his car for no real reason. Even in his video statements, he said that they never hurt him. He simply didn't like them or had hatred in his heart. He could have made the choice to drive away that night, but he didn't. He went inside. He stated that he went in his room and drank and thought about it some more. He could have stopped then, but he didn't. He walked into the kitchen and picked up a knife. He still could have stopped, but he didn't. He continued into their bedroom. He stated they were asleep and it was dark. Again, he could have stopped and left, but he didn't. Instead, he brutally began stabbing my precious friend. the man who gave up everything for him, and the man that was like the older brother that I never had. In this struggle, he also stabbed Jennifer. These two people who loved each other so much, and him as well. Sometime during this attack, he lost the knife, and Jennifer was able to get out and try to get help. He could have stopped then, but he chose not to. Instead, he went in the kitchen and retrieved another knife to, in his words, finish what he started. He then made sure he had taken all the life out of poor Rob. Again, he could have stopped, but he chose to go out and find Jennifer. He then forced her back in the house where he forced her to listen to his rantings. Again, he could have stopped, but instead he chose brutality, again in his own words, to finish what he started. Now he truly gets to finish what he started. When he killed our precious friends and robbed this world of the love and light that they shared. For the rest of his life, he will be a nobody whose name means nothing. Instead, he will be assigned a number due to his own actions and be forced to suffer this alone, more than likely without any visitors. He killed the only two people in this world who would have been there for him. He has to live with that for the rest of his life, and I pray that one day he will accept that responsibility for his actions and repent and accept Christ into his heart. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. Careful stepping down, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. The state calls Talitha Pollock.
Stand right here. If you want to face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Okay, then you can just go right up to that ramp.
Good afternoon, Ms. Pollock. Will you tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Talitha Pollock, Pollock.
Would you like to talk to Judge Krug?
Yes, please. I tried to write something too. Probably not as good at it as my husband.
Take your time. There's no rush.
When we first met Jen and Rob, we became fast friends. We met them serving at church, and the next thing you know, we were doing everything together. Our now grown daughters were young at the time and absolutely adored them. If you're a parent, you know that it's really important who you leave your kids with. And my husband and I take that very seriously. We don't let them do sleepovers or things like that at anybody's house. But we trusted the Towers, which is like putting them like at such a high level, you know, to trust them to keep our kids. So when my husband and I would go on mission trips to South America, we would leave our girls with them, and they had a blast. They loved going to Robbie and Miss Jen's house. We, without hesitation, trusted them. They were amazing, and they were also amazing with any other kids they ever came in contact with. They served in church with like the kids ministry. They would really serve anywhere anybody asked them to because they never said no, and the kids loved them. Losing Jen and Rob has been a huge loss, not just for the families and the friends, but for countless individuals and also our community. They always had the best smiles, and they never said no to helping anyone in need, but they also never wanted any recognition. They did it because they just wanted to. I only know because I saw them in action countless times when they thought nobody was looking. we'd be doing a food drive at church. They didn't just bring in a handful of cans or something from their pantry. They'd go grocery shopping at Publix and bring in multiple bags. If they found out someone had a need, whether they knew them or not, that they could meet, they would jump right in and do it. When we first met them, they were young professionals and could go on luxury vacations if they wanted to, but instead they spent both their vacation time and all their resources on mission trips to Russia and the Ukraine. They had a love for the Ukrainian people. And so I was not completely surprised when Jen told me about Dima. She beamed. I can promise you that she could not have loved you more, Dima, than if she gave birth to you herself. She loved him so much. I have children that I have given birth to, and I have children that I've adopted. You love them the same, and Jen loved him just like she gave birth to him. She loved him unconditionally. You were a nobody from nowhere, but two amazing people from somewhere came to save you. What you did by repaying them, by cowardly killing them because you don't like rules, authority, or you can't handle consequences. You decided our country is a crap hole, in your own words, and you wanted to go back to the Ukraine. I think of all the kids in orphanages that would be grateful to be brought here and given the life that you were, but not you. You were only grateful when you were getting what you wanted. I think it's ironic now that hopefully he can spend the rest of his measly existence in a prison in the land that he hates so much. The truth is that he was used to picking on and beating up anyone smaller than him. He couldn't do that with Rob. Rob was bigger, but he wasn't violent at all. Rob could maybe hold him back. So he waited till they were asleep. And like a thief in the night, you snuck in and you started your evil rampage. My daughters miss Jen and Robbie so much. I miss Jen. I miss Rob too, but I miss Jen more than words. She had the most beautiful smile, the kindest heart, a great laugh. And one thing no purely evil thief in the night could steal are all the memories that they gave us. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Bond.
Thank you.
Thank you. The state calls Lisa Huff.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Huff, before you start speaking to the judge, would you just identify yourself for the record? Tell us your full name and last name, and spell your last name.
My name is Lisa Huff. My last name is Huff.
Thank you. And will you tell us how you know Jennifer and Robbie Tower, please?
Jennifer is my youngest sister. Robbie is my brother-in-law.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Take me a minute. Okay. I had to type mine out just today, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Your Honor, thank you for allowing me to speak today. I can't begin to express the depth of loss and pain that this tragedy has brought to our family. and all who knew and loved Rob and Jennifer. They were two of the most wonderful people you could ever meet. My sister Jennifer was the most loving, caring, and compassionate person. Even when she was struggling, she had a wonderful sense of humor and a strong faith and belief in God. I was blessed to have her as my youngest sister and thankful for all the good memories we shared together. Rob was also an awesome person and was always willing to lend a helping hand. He was also a fun-loving guy and had a great sense of humor. Rob and Jennifer did all they could to help Dima have a better life. No, they were not perfect, but no one is. There was absolutely nothing they did to deserve being brutally murdered and so carelessly and senselessly ripped out of the lives of my family and everyone else who knew and loved Rob and Jennifer. I will never understand or comprehend what drove Dima to commit such a heinous act against two of the people who gave him or gave so much of themselves and did all within their power to give him a better life. I guess evil simply cannot be understood. As a Christian, I know that the Bible commands me to forgive Dima. That is something I will have to fully rely on God's help and strength to do. I can't do it on my own. Dima has shown no remorse for his actions, and it has been said that he may not have the capacity to do so. Though some may not understand, I pray that Dima will one day feel the weight and guilt of what he has done and ask for God's forgiveness. By saying this, by no means am I stating that Dima should not be held accountable and pay for his actions. He definitely should be. His horrible actions against Rob and Jennifer demand justice. However, as Rob and Jennifer were also Christians, I believe that this is what they would want for Dima, even though he did what he did to them. Though some may not agree with me or understand, as a Christian, I believe that even in horrific tragedies such as these, that God would want something good to come out of them. It is my firm belief that Rob and Jennifer would want Dima to ask for forgiveness and join them in heaven one day. Although it seems impossible in our eyes as human beings, I pray and have faith that this can happen. Although I am still angry and sad for what has happened, it is my belief that God died for all sins, including the ones committed by Dima on that terrible day in August of 2023. Dima is my nephew, and though mine and my family's lives will never be the same, part of me still cares for him. I pray he will make the right decision and ask God for forgiveness for what he has done. Once again, I believe this is what Rob and Jennifer would have wanted for Dima. Thank you again for giving me the chance to speak, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm going to read a statement from Jennifer's other sister, Lori Ely, who's here present in the courtroom, and then we have one final statement from Debbie Tower. So this is the statement from Ms. Ely, and it reads as follows. Her name is Lori, last name Ely. Your Honor, thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of my sister, Jennifer, her husband, Rob, and our grieving family. No words can fully capture the depth of loss and devastation that this crime has caused us. Jen and Rob were two of the most generous, hopeful, and loving people I have ever known. Their greatest dream was to build a family. After years of struggling to have children, they made the selfless decision to adopt. Their Christian missionary work in Ukraine inspired them to open their hearts to a child in need, and they welcomed their son Dima into their home with love. Adoption was not easy. It was emotionally, financially, and spiritually very demanding. They emptied their savings, they took loans, and they relied on the kindness of others to make their dream of parenthood possible. Despite every challenge, they remained deeply committed to giving Dima a stable, nurturing home and every opportunity to thrive. I have never seen my sister as happy as she was when Dima arrived. She was radiant, excited, fulfilled, and hopeful about motherhood. Rob shared her joy, and together they dedicated themselves to building a loving family. They celebrated milestones, faced setbacks, and consistently placed Dima's welfare and well-being above their own. Their commitment to him never wavered. Their journey, however, was extraordinarily difficult. They worked tirelessly to support Dima through anger, defiance, and destructive behavior. They sought help for him, guidance, and healing. They endured emotional and physical harm while trying to help him overcome his struggles. Even in the face of rejection and escalating violence by Dima, they continued to try because they were driven by love, faith, and the belief that every child deserves a chance. Despite their extraordinary efforts, Jen and Rob's lives were taken from them in a violent, senseless manner. The pain of losing them is indescribable. Their deaths shattered our family and left a void that can never be filled. My sister's warmth, kindness, and optimism are gone. Rob's humor, steadiness, and generosity are now only memories. We never had the chance to say goodbye. What I wouldn't give for one more conversation, one more holiday together, or just one more hug. Every day I'm confronted by reminders of what was stolen from us. I lost two of my closest friends. My faith in the goodness of people has been shaken. I now live with symptoms of PTSD. I return to work while simultaneously navigating the unimaginable task of settling my sister's estate, repeatedly explaining their deaths to banks, to creditors, mailing their death certificates, and reliving the trauma each time I read their names on those documents. I had to walk through their home and sort through the pieces of their lives. I found my sister's wedding dress. I found hundreds of photos of their lives together and two people deeply in love. Those moments broke me. The grief is relentless. I will never be the same person I was before, and no therapy or counseling will ever fully mend what has been taken. Jen and Rob's deaths touched more than just our family. Their community lost two people defined by selflessness and generosity. They opened their home and their hearts not only to Dima, but to many others. As Christians, they lived their faith through quiet acts of love and compassion. Their reward for this kind of selflessness was a brutal death at the hands of the child they devoted their lives to. I can't escape the tormenting thoughts of their final moments. How frightened and betrayed they must have felt. Our family is left to carry the weight of this tragedy every day, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Holidays, family gatherings, and even small joys are marked by their absence. Your Honor, as you consider sentencing, I ask that you remember who Jennifer and Rob were. Decent, selfless people who dedicated themselves to giving a vulnerable child a better life. They believed in second chances and in the power of love. Their lives were taken in a horrific way, and the hole left in our hearts will never be filled. Since their deaths, I have tried to understand how Dima could have committed such a crime. I am not an expert, but I have learned about psychopathy and antisocial personality disorder. I do not know whether he was born this way or shaped by trauma. In many ways, the situation is a tragedy for everyone, including him. I believe my sister would have forgiven him. But forgiveness does not erase danger. From what I have come to understand about psychopathy, it cannot be cured. If Dima were ever released, I firmly believe that he is a risk to society and that he would harm or kill again. While compassion and faith may allow us to pity his past, society also has a responsibility to protect others from someone like him who demonstrates violence, lacks empathy, and cannot regulate dangerous impulses. For the safety of the public and in honor of Jennifer and Rob, I ask that you impose a sentence that ensures no other family will face the pain we endure every day. Thank you, Your Honor.
Where is Laura Ailing? Well said.
Finally, the state would call Debbie Tower, please.
Here, face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Repeat this for me. That way.
Hello, Ms. Tower. Can you tell us your full name and spell your last name?
Debbie Tower. T-O-W-E-R.
Would you like some water?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Robbie was my son. Robbie was my son. And Jennifer was my daughter-in-law. And I can't. What he took away from us is beyond what you can imagine, because Robbie was my friend, my son. He thought he was the father of my other two kids. He helped raise them. And then when my daughter died, we were left with two little boys, and he helped raise them. He acted like their father, and he did everything with them, and he took them places, and he took care of them. And he could not have ever been a better father than he was to my boys, his nieces, his nephews, and him. He spoiled him. He did everything that he could. And Jennifer, and the two of them did everything to make him happy. And every time something would happen, they would fix it. And I just want people to know that he wasn't neither one of them were a bad parent. They were excellent. They couldn't do enough to take care of children. Now my boys want to know, where's Robbie? And I can't explain it to them because they don't understand heaven. And I'm sorry, this is so hard. I just wanted people to know that they both were good. They were good to him. He can't say things that aren't true. And he really was good to everybody, and I miss him so much. I'm so sorry. I just want people to know how good they were. I brought them with me so they could see what we're doing for them. He destroyed so many people. I just don't know how he can live with himself. And you're gonna have to think about this for the rest of your life, what you did. You didn't just murder Robbie and Jen, you murdered all of us. That's all I can say. I can't say any more.
Thank you, Ms. Tower. Be careful getting down.
There are no further statements, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Can we put up do we have a second podium in here?
It's back there.
You don't need to plug it in, but can you bring one in? Mr. Gilman, do you have anybody that wishes to speak from the defense?
The defendant would like to address the court, Your Honor.
Okay. Does he want to take the witness stand and speak?
I don't mind.
Okay, wait, we're going to, I'm sorry?
I don't mind taking the witness stand.
Okay. Let me just make sure you understand. I'm not going to allow any disparaging comments related to Robbie and Jennifer Tower. Do you understand that?
What do you mean?
I don't want a single negative comment or disparaging, meanful, harmful contact.
There will be no such words.
Okay.
There will be only the story.
Mr. Gilman, have you spoken to him at all about what he wishes to say?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you please explain to him what I just ordered? I will not permit Robbie and Jennifer to be disparaged in any way in this courtroom.
I understood what you said. I will only tell our story. I will be rational. I will be making sense. I'm not gonna be speaking meaningless words that have no reason to say.
This is an opportunity for you to show remorse, if you have any, to apologize if you wish to, and it's sincere, and to express your gratitude for the opportunity that Robbie and Jennifer gave you, if you wish, to apologize to the family and the community for which you tore apart and destroyed. This is that opportunity. Do you understand that, Mr. Tower?
I understand.
And the opportunity is limited to that. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. All right, let's have the defendant take the witness stand, please. You want to assist?
I'll do what I can, Your Honor. Can you please just state your name for the court reporter, please?
Dima James Tower.
And given what the court has talked to you about, what is it that you want Judge Krug to know prior to imposing a sentence?
What I have to say is our feelings block out our intellect, so I must ignore the irrational testimonies I heard about the life that I had with adopted parents of mine, and prior to that. I must only speak the truth. However, I've been told that I have limited time, and there's much to say that I expect these adults to understand me talking to them as adults to adults. I had 2 years and 2 months of dwelling on this. And the conclusion I have come to is not only that everything evolves around God, that we must understand that we live in an unmanly world. And what this means is...
Mr. Tower, I'm not concerned about what world you believe in. Do you wish to offer an apology and remorse to the victims?
Yes, I am. I'm getting to that, yes.
Cut right to it. I don't want to hear what world you think you live in.
Well, I'm going to cut right to it.
Thank you.
The remorse that I have for my adopted parents is, it might be unshown. That doesn't mean it's not felt. Because when I committed these acts of crime, I lost my mind, and somebody might think that I knew what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. It was.
Do you wish to offer an apology?
I am on offer an apology. I'm explaining an apology. I'm explaining an apology. I'm in the middle of apology. Apology is that the truth is that there are a lot of fatherless children out there, and my apology in this is that Nobody want to be held accountable for their actions. And I'm being held accountable for the actions of grown men. So my apology is that I have to be responsible for what Oscar did to his children and what Phil did to his children. And how can I apologize for the mistreatment that Oscar, as a stepfather.
All right, I'm going to have the defendant removed from the stand. He's choosing not to give an apology. I'm sorry to the family in the courtroom. I wanted to give an opportunity for you to have to hear from the defendant, to perhaps hear an apology and remorse. I think that is not forthcoming, as we all saw. Mr. Gilman, anything else from the defense?
Nothing.
Okay, let's hear from the state what you're seeking and why.
Thank you, Your Honor. As to count one, the state is seeking the statutorily mandated sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to count two, the state is seeking a consecutive, mandatorily, well, that's not mandatory, consecutive life without parole sentence for the death of Jennifer Tower, as well as the death of Robbie Tower. And as to count three, 5 years in the Department of Corrections, concurrent with count two. Thank you.
Mr. Gilman, anything you wanted to add?
No, Your Honor, I don't disagree with the state that the sentence is statutorily mandated. I would just ask that the court to impose the sentences on counts 1 and 2 concurrent rather than consecutive.
All right, thank you, counselors. You can be seated. All right, to the family, I know law enforcement is here who worked hard on this case. I want to thank you for your courtesy throughout the trial. I know it can be very hard to sit in a long trial where you have loved ones that were viciously and brutally murdered, as your loved ones were in this case. You respected the process. You respected the role of the judge, the jury, the witnesses, and you allowed for the trial to go through properly, efficiently, lawfully, which is our roles in the judicial system. You know, we serve a function and we need to make sure that happens. And so I appreciate your role in that. As the judge, I don't know the folks that are murdered or injured in cases. You realize I come into the story much later at a trial often or at a sentencing hearing. I can tell you that the role of a judge is very difficult sentencing most days. I anguish over sentencing decisions I have to make. I do it on a daily basis, 5 days a week, handling all types of different cases and have to make decisions as to whether someone goes to jail or not, or goes to prison or not, if so, how long. And I think you can imagine in many cases, most cases, that can be difficult. You see the human compassion in people, and you see mistakes can be made. Today, obviously, is not one of those days for me. Sentencing today is very easy, and I think it was Miss Lisa Huff, or actually, no, it might have been Laura Ely, I'm not sure, maybe both, who had great insight in their statements, that there's a role that the court has, and that is to punish and also to provide for the safety of the community. What I enjoyed this afternoon was, even though it was brief, learning about the terrific lives that this, I'm going to call them Robbie and Jennifer, lived. They seemed, and many of you used these words, that they were selfless. Some of you said that they gave the shirt off their back for others. They ministered to children and others, going as far as Ukraine and Russia to help those in need in South America. They were babysitters. They were a happy husband and wife. They were children to the parents we heard from, brothers, aunts, uncles. They just really seem like terrific people. And it is a shame that in this great country that we live in, that we lost two shining stars. I hope that, and one of you mentioned this, that they live on in your hearts, in your memory, and I hope you realize that. I know you do. The grief, the anger will continue for time, but I hope you cherish, and I know you will, those memories and lean on each other and the love and support of your family, and celebrate what seems to be amazing lives of two great people, and they can be beacons for how you teach your children and how you continue to move on. Mr. Tower, I don't know what else to say. You seem to be an evil spirit, an evil person.
Evil spirit because you're talking foolish.
Who doesn't seem to have any...
I'm full of remorse. I'm not showing it because...
I will at this time, Mr. Tower, sentence you as to count 1. This is for first-degree murder of, count 1 was Robbie, is that right?
Yes.
Of Robbie Tower. I will sentence you to life in prison. You will serve the rest of your life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 2, and often I do run them concurrent. I know that the defense requested that. We have a unique and clearly a special life in Jennifer Tower as well. I spoke about that earlier. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty of count 2, first-degree premeditated murder on Jennifer Tower. I will run this sentence consecutive to count 1. I will sentence you, Mr. Tower, to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 3, the fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement with lights and sirens. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Let's see, this is what degree felony? State third. Sentence you to the maximum of 5 years in prison to run concurrent with count 2. I will order that you have no contact whatsoever with Robbie and Jennifer's family, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, parents, siblings. I will order restitution and reserve as to the amount. I'll order as a civil judgment against you court costs, a prosecutor fee and public defender fee of $100 to each. Are there any other statutory terms that I'm leaving out? State?
No, Your Honor, but I do have a score sheet for count 3, which is the only count that requires a score sheet.
Mr. Gilman, anything I left out?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Tower, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of this court. If you cannot afford an attorney for that appeal, one will be appointed to represent you.
What about the truth?
Good luck to everyone. Court will be adjourned.